Do you, by the way, think about AI and the existential threats? Like, speaking of gods, is this whole technological world, we talked about social networks and this increasing power of technology around us, we ourselves are becoming less human because we keep relying on technology more and more. So we're becoming kinds of cyborgs, but also there's a future that's quite possible where the technology becomes smarter and more powerful than us humans, and uh, you know starts having a life of its own in ways that perhaps we don't imagine as human beings. I don't just mean like two-legged robots walking around and being humans but smarter. I mean like an intelligent life that's that's beyond and fundamentally different than our human life. It's infinite. It's
Also, we're creating a new species, yeah?
yeah, a new kind of species, not even just a new species. You're talking about systems, but like it lives in the space of information. It lives in a different time scale, in a different scale of all sorts, spatial scale. It operate like we spoke about individuals. It doesn't operate in the sense of a single individual, like embodied. It's not embodied, so it's not like a thing that walks around and it looks at stuff. It consumes the world. It's able to do much larger scale sensing of the environment around it, all that kind of stuff.
I can barely even I can barely even conceive of what that would be
Are you
like.
scared or are you excited?
I don't define scared or excited. I feel like I tend to define them like the same way, where I'm like, I guess if I'm
Kind of like when
hes-
before karaoke. It's the same experience.
well, that's actually kind of my happy place. It's not so much everyone else's. It's everyone else is probably heading for the door at that point. But it's
While you're doing it, or leading up to the karaoke
well,
session.
it depends whether or not they know it's me. If they know it's me, that's before I start. If they're like, "Who's that guy?" Then they're like halfway through the song, they're already
What
they've thrown their beer.
what categories of song or a particular song are we talking about in terms of like your happy place?
Oh man, are you kidding me? I mean, obviously Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, there's no question because I don't have
Really?
to, oh yeah, because I don't have to sing it here. It's that. It's like, you remember, can I beat Khabib? Oh yeah, of course. Is he here? No. Yeah, then yeah, yeah. All right. If you're
Well, I
here,
like
is he here?
this.
No, then
I have
no.
I have torn feelings about Bohemian Rhapsody because I like the beginning part, the sadness. I like the solo, the
Mm.
heartbreak. But the second part, I understand it, but
Yeah,
it's so
it
ridiculous.
gets ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. It ruins it for me.
But it's more about flexing on people. I think if you can actually hit that, the falsetto.
Yeah. So it's it's not okay. So you appreciate not for the musical beauty and complexity of the song. You just like to flex on
Well,
people.
because like
with your
for all, yeah, like what's the purpose
vocal
of
talents.
anything except for just to let everyone know that you think you're cool?
And there's no better way of doing that than karaoke. So I'm not sure why I brought up karaoke.
Captive audience. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Draw
about fear
people.
and excitement of artificial intelligence.
I mean, like, you know me, I don't know anything about. I just basically I don't understand the implications of any of this. I would just say that like radically altering what it means to be human in such an unbelievably short period of time just seems like such a crazy thing. And also, it's not like I can't remember who said this to me recently. Might have even been you. I can't remember. So this is definitely not my idea. But we're not even going, hey, would you like to opt in? Everyone is being opted in, and particularly when you want to talk about like large scale robotics or large scale AI, like the world is changing. People in Senegal are opting in right now without realizing it. It's not even like, and again, I don't mean to pick on Senegal. It's just whatever country comes up to mind, but that's in the developing world. But basically, you know, recognizing that this huge shift is coming. We have no idea if this is a decent idea. And also something else I've always been considered is, you think about most of the really awful, awful, awful things that have done in history, large scale slavery, you name it. It didn't, if people say that it came from this motivation or that motivation, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Fundamentally, the issue, at least in my mind, and again, I'm not a historian, power differential. If you and I can't contest, we don't contend. It's not like we fight and you might win, or we fight, even you'll win comfortably. It's you are so unbelievably powerful compared to me that there's nothing I can do to stop you. That seems like a recipe for something really, really not great happening. Because if you think about like European countries encountering each other, and I'm just speculating, I don't know anything about history, but let's say countries that can contend with one another
Mhm.
versus countries that can't. let's say an alien race shows up, right now, we don't want that. I think Stephen Hawking said that. And it makes perfect sense to me. We don't want that. If you can come here, we better hope you're nice. Because
Well,
what are we going to do? What are we going to hope that you invade the water planet like they did in, one of the War of the Worlds. So I guess what I'm trying to get across is like shocking levels of power differential between groups makes the world ripe for horrific abuse in the event that someone decides to do it. It's like can you imagine an adult hitting a child, like hitting a child? No one in their right mind would ever go like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Because it's so grossly imbalanced. You're like, this is wrong. But it's also on the table only because of the gross imbalance. So I guess to come back, it's like whether we create AI and it's on some crazy level of its own, or I'm in charge of it, or it seems like we're creating. You mentioned like game theory and nuclear war. What prevented nuclear war? I mean, presumably mutually assured destruction. I mean, hopefully also humanity and the humanity and the reasonable, cooler heads prevailing and going, hey, I can understand the veil of ignorance, and I don't go, oh yeah, let me kill those guys because I can. I go, this is wrong, period. And in concept, this is not an action I should take, but it's also nice and easy to keep me honest if I know that I can't get you without being got myself.
yeah.
But what happens when I can get anyone and anything and I'm more or less untouchable? Like that seems to me to be like various times in colonial history, you know what I mean? And what happened? We know what happened.
But so the possibility of really bad things are plentiful. The
That's fair.
possibilities, but the possibilities of really positive things are plentiful.
Like what though? I'm not saying wrong. I just don't even know.
So I can give a million examples.
Sweet.
So one is just the examples of the parent and the child. You said there's a power differential there, and we don't like a parent hitting their child.
What about not just hitting, like beating? Like where you're like,
great, beating their child. How often, percentage-wise, do you see that happening? Even though that power differential, first of all, other people's kids. Let's just put this on the table. I love kids, but other people's kids can be annoying sometimes.
Sometimes you got to deal out some justice. I get it.
But we don't take advantage of that power differential.
No.
So like there is ethics, there's moralities that emerge that allow the power differential to be used for good versus for bad. So like one of the assumptions with Stephen Hawking or with if Russia became much more powerful than America or America much more powerful than Russia in the Cold War, your assumption that immediately that power differential, not your assumption, but
would express itself, right?
Would express itself in the same way that it was trying to express itself when there was a more level competition. But it's also possible when the power differential grows, the incentive, the joy, whatever the mechanisms that made sense when it was at the same level, the incentives become very different. It's not as fun to destroy the ant colony. You start becoming more the kind of a conservationist. Like
one hopes. That's an evolved perspective, though. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's evolved or not, but it's definitely a possibility. It's unclear to me that something that's many orders of magnitude more powerful than us will want to destroy us.
Well, I mean, how did mass slavery occur? How did, just big dogs playing with not?
Right? I think slavery and a lot of the atrocities in history happened when the power differential was not as great as we're talking about with AI potentially.
Is that not somehow worse than?
It's not obvious to me. It's not obvious that things that are way more powerful.
That's fair. Okay.
So I think you're.
I guess how do you restrain it though?
There's a lot of different discussions of how to.
I guess even restrain each other, because let's say I go and decide to strike someone's child, which I'd like to think I wouldn't do.
Yes.
I will find myself in front of a judge. And so I feel like there's a lot. Can you imagine how many people used to get murdered just in the woods?
Yeah.
I mean, I would just presume it's a lot, and so I don't think most people are lunatics like that, but I would just say,
but that's the point.
If you're given to that, your ability to get away with it was greater in the past because of chance of detection was less. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being unreasonable.
This is what's called in artificial intelligence AI safety research called value alignment, of ensuring as you build the systems that become smarter and smarter and more powerful and powerful, make sure that their values are aligned with the entities over which they're becoming powerful with humans. So if you were to talk to an AI that's becoming smarter, at first it's dumber than you, but then it's becoming smarter and smarter. You have to create mechanisms where you both value the same things.
I guess one thing I wonder, so I guess I'm probably not like sharp enough to grasp this if I'm honest, but I guess like I wonder like I use the chess programs.
Yeah.
Was Deep Blue, Stockfish, and then like Alpha Zero, and Alpha Zero teaching itself to beat Stockfish without any help in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like it becomes orders of magnitude more intelligence than us in effectively an instantaneous period. I guess what I always wondered, like, if you were that much smarter than me, I feel like your ability to manipulate me would be pretty significant, or at least potentially. No,
but manipulation implies that the incentive is to overpower everything around you. Like there's implied incentives. Okay. If your value is to actually, like, it depends what you want in life.
Okay.
What you want in your system. Like it's not clear that the goal of an AI system that's all powerful is to destroy all humans.
No, I don't think that it is either. I guess
or even enslave all humans.
That's fair. I guess what I'm trying to suggest is that something adequately powerful, these actions are on the table.
Yes, they're on the table, and that's scary, and that's why a lot of people are really concerned about it and are working on it. Like, I'm just trying to make the case for AGI, because if they're watching this, he's the one to kill.
No, actually, I was thinking, yeah, I wash toilets like really well. There's
No, I mean that's the main concern for all the people in the AI safety research. People talk about AGI is it's kind of disturbing how little people are working on trying to create mechanisms that keep AI's values aligned with ours.
That's completely unshocking.
Yeah, we humans seem to do only good when, like, you even look at like coronavirus. It's like when, like, the water has to be leaking from the ceiling. You have to be there. Has
fine
blood everywhere, fire, just destruction. We just seem to ignore completely any
writing all over the wall.
Writing all over the wall.